Hey there, nice to see you again. Welcome back to another edition of Music Monday with your host Nicholas Thompson, where you can find genuine, excellent recommendations for your aware and super taste of musical tastes. I will be talking about and reviewing music that I've listened to from the previous week. I will be talking about the headliners, Demi Lovato, uh, Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodriguez, LP, Foo Fighters, the top notch of artists of today. And once in a while, I'll be going back to the great tunes of the good old era. But let's start off with our first recommendation. Guts by Olivia Rodriguez. I have been waiting very patiently for this piece of work to come out. This is Rodriguez's second album, and what could I say about this? It's just brilliant. It's filled with life and just excellent. It tells her story with the use of rock and roll, and it is mind blowing. A mind blowing experience, I would say. And she talks about that the focus on this is the events that have clutched her heart and like what she's experienced from being a 19-year-old and pursuing a music career. And also, she said the this album focuses the experiences and challenges that she's went throughout the year, acknowledgements, mistakes, uh, and the usual teenage angst that occur. That also that gave her the title since she gone through these experiences and these challenges that she has occurred throughout the year with nothing but her guts. This album has brilliant tunes, brilliant techniques, guitars. It's just brilliant to find. It's one of those albums when future on, where she continues with her career, a long and prosperous career that I hope you can look back and say this is one of her greatest hits. I would say one of her best pieces of work. I loved it. Some of my favorite songs are Lucille and what's it called again? Vampire and See You Tonight. And yeah, it's just brilliant. And I think Together is one of them. I can't. So yeah, yes, it's a rock and roll album. I really recommend it since it's Olivia Rodriguez. It's been really hyped up. It's been anticipated, and it's been hitting out of the parks and the charts. I think on its first week it went on the 200 Billboard at number 1, and I think it's still in the charts. It's just clutching along. I think it'll be in the charts for the next up and coming weeks for being the top 10. So yes, keep in tune with that. Also, this is to prepare her for her world tour that she will be promoting this album. And yeah, I just loved it. It was just brilliant. It just gave us an insight of her world and what's happening with her. And it just felt like, when you come out on a movie and it's just you come out, you have a bit of a tear to yourself when you cry up a bit because it tells a brilliant story. That's what this felt like. So yeah, Guts from Olivia Rodriguez. Brilliant piece of work. Revamp by Demi Lovato. This is a brilliant album. It takes all of our previous works and takes them and puts a rock and roll element into them. Since takes all our great pop hits like Heart Attack and I Am Sorry and that, and just also I think this album extends upon her previous work that she couldn't have done to express what she truly felt with her work, since she found a true stepping on her place in the music industry with her world acclaim album, a Holy, the rest, Holy Fun. And yeah, so I think also that it's a brilliant title for an album because it revamps all her great work. It adds rock and roll, which I think extends upon the songs that were she released prior to Holy Hangway. So yeah, I think that done it a lot of good. Again, it just there's no that much. How can I say that? There's originality with it. She just took all her previous work and added her actual feelings and her anger and just her, you know, Lovato's way of working and puts it in there. And I think that she done a brilliant job with this. And you know what I don't like about remasters is that when I think of a remaster, I think of work that's been extended or it's been altered in a way to make it in better quality. And I think this is a great example of that. I don't like a remaster where they just aperture the sensitivity and the sound of the quality of the music. Where this is a proper remaster. They take old music, they let's call it tune it, and do some magic with it to give it a new and fresh take. And I think this album does that with her previous work. So we'll revamp by Demi Lovato. So it's a heavy walk and roll album, a bit of metal, I would say. And yeah, if you liked holy fuck, if you like that, you will like this, since it goes well with that. It's just, yeah, so it's just really good. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, let's move on to the next recommendation. Scaring the Hoes by JPEGMAFIA and Danny Brown. This is one of the occasions these two artists have collabed, but this is their first full-length album they've worked together with. This album is a mixture of hip-hop and alternative hip-hop, and what I've got to say, my true emotions about this album is really, it's alternative, really, and it's really weird to listen to. It was like listening to an episode of The Twilight Zone. It didn't make that much sense, and you can't really remember what happens during it. And I think that's what makes this album unique. It's got that, it touches a note with you when you listen to it, and it's just every beat with every tune with also, I know it's mainly hip hop, but you can hear certain references to our genres, a bit of soul, jazz, and a bit of rock and roll, and a slight hint of sparkle of rap. Also, JPEGMAFIA wanted it to be known that he and his collaborative artist Danny Brown only used one machine during the creating of this album, and that was the SP404. And you don't know what, if you're a hip hop enthusiast, if you understand that, if that means anything to you. Also, I guess appearance of Red Velvet, I think. Was it Red Velvet or Red Veil? That's it. Also, two of my favourite tunes that I joined into this is Orange Juice Jones and Won the Jewels. I could keep up with the understanding and the stories on those. So yeah, I just love the remixing and the technological tools that they used for this, since it gives it that alternative and unique tune and sound to it. And I just love to listen to this, and it just keeps you on your toes. That's what I could say about it. It can, if you are doing activities, or if you're moving around, if you like to move around whilst listening to album, this is a perfect album for you. I understand this is a volume 1, and I guess that means there will be a volume 2. I understand there will be a volume 2. There's no much information about that soon, but you know me, when it comes out, I will be reviewing it. I will give my perspectives on this and that and compare them. I just really enjoyed this. I do like Danny Brown. I like some of his stuff. And JPEGMAFIA, I'm very new and introduced into his music, so you could say this is out there for me. But really enjoyed it. It's just very, what's the word? Like unique. That's one thing I could say. An alternative. I highly recommend this if you want to try an alternative hip hop album. So yeah, let's move on to the next recommendation. The Land is Inhospitable and So Are We by Mitski. My apologies for how I said that. This is the artist's 7th studio album, and this album has a lot of different things going on with it. Its music's like a heartbreak with a bit of poetry, with some of the lyrics and tunes, with the emotional elements of the rawness of the lyrics that gives it that tang, I would say, give it that spark. And also with what I think she done is she took all all the modern techniques and all the modern ways of making music, and strips that all down, gives us the bare bones and the natural way of how music is produced and performed. And from listen to it, it has this something like an organic sound to it. Like I just something organic about it. It's like it tells the story of just nature and the environment around us and how we respect it. The artist has stated that the main theme of the album is a love story of some sort, and a piece of culture that it tries to tell. Some of my favourite songs is The Forest, I Am Your Man, Stars, and Mine, Oh Mine. I have to say that this, sorry about that, it's just my reading of the notes are a bit difficult. Apologise again. I just have to say that it makes you think about the environment around you and makes you question about where you are in the moment and at the time of listening to this. And just when you listen to it, you stop for a moment. Time stops, and you just question certain things about yourself, about where you are and what you're doing with yourself. And I think that if an album can make you think like that, it does have an impactful feeling, and gives an impactful feeling too. So again, I'll highly recommend this if you want to experience something like something whilst listening to music. Like you want to have an experience listening to the tunes. Well, all the stuff that I've recommended gives out different experiences. Like Olivia Rodrigo's Guts, she gives out how it's like to be young with the success of being young. Demi Lovato's just exploring her new finding place in music. Screaming the Hole, like all these, what I recommend gives you experience, but this stops time for a moment and makes you question upon what you are doing. So I highly recommend this. I just think the artist done something unique. If you just brilliant, I loved it. So just I love the tunes, I love the bare bones of it. Like there's nothing, there's no remix. There's remixing, but it's not jumping like it's like you can hear the instruments, you can hear the artists. There's no like it's bare bones music. So yeah, I highly recommend it. So let's move on to our next recommendation. Caves by Need to Breathe. This is the band's ninth studio album, and it's been a long time waiting. Supposedly it took upwards of 2 years in the making, with the band getting on with their lives and having big life changes occur with family members and etc. From the leading member of the band, he said that at the moment of writing and recording this, he was in a lonely place and he was in a sad and just crucial part of their lives. And I think it tells a sad tale, but with a good ending, with a light at the end of the tunnel, you could say. It has a great piano ballad at track 3 and I think track 10. It's got great acoustic guitars and great certain elements of music, like just great vocals from the leading vocalists, and I just loved how the guitar solos and the different guitars that they use. Also, the mixing on the keyboard was brilliant. One of my favourite songs is Even Known, which is I think it's Even Known. I believe it is. If I'm misreading that, please let me know. It's a mix of pop, southern rock music. So yeah, yes, I highly recommend this. If you want to listen to a sad story and see that has a good ending to it, this is a great album, since with every song it tells a great story and a sad, traumatic story, but it comes back with a song with a good story to tell that makes it it makes it evenly. So yes, I just enjoyed listening to this. It was different from what I. Also, the band says that this was a proper band album, which I think what he's trying to say is that they worked together. Each song was produced and created with each band member putting their input and story in the recording and the music. So yeah, I highly recommend this. So let's move on to our next recommendation. The Love album, Off the Grid by Diddy. This is the artist's fifth studio album. I've got today. This is an excellent album with great beats and smooth lyrics that goes through and tells a impactful story, a lovely story of love and romance. At its center, it's a love story. Uh, the sound in it is relaxing and wonderful. It just gives you a chance to understand what the artist tries to tell, which is the different emotions and the different adventure that you go through whilst being in love. Sorry about that. The microphone was out of place. My apologies. Again, relaxes sound. It has a lot of artists appearing in it. No, so many that I can't name them all, but Justin Bieber being one of them. So yes, it has a lot of great tunes and a lot of good songs in it. Some of my favourites are "Stay a While," "Homecoming," "Pick Up," and "Moments," which is features Justin Bieber in it. It says it's an R&B album. I would say it is, but it's more than that. It's just a great piece of music, I have to say. One of the very unique, very joyful, and tells a great story and adventure of which is love and the emotional elements that you have whilst having love, hate, etc. Well, yeah, I highly recommend this. I have to say it's a very long album. I think it's like 14. Is it 14? It's at least an hour or 40 or something. It's a long album, so I would and sit down and listen to it. So yeah, so let's. So what was I going to say? Just a beautiful story about love and how the artist's experience with love has encountered and that. So yes, let's move on to the next recommendation. Blame My Ex by the Beaches. This is the band's second studio album, and it has a vibe of indie rock and pop rock put together. The album's main themes is love and heartbreak and different emotions that you go through. Also, the different types of relationships that occur, such as hookups, long-term, short-term relationships, physical, emotional, long distance, etc. And the band, from what I understand, the band wanted to explore the members' each experiences with loss and heartbreak, and the different experiences in relationships, and the different types of relationships, and the themes and the emotions that go through certain relationships. Some of my favourite songs from this album is "Me and Me" and "Everything Is Born" and Age of the Earth, and I quite enjoyed this. It gave you insight of the artist's experience in relationships and their story that the story that they had to tell with this album, and I think they done a good job trying to get their message across. And I highly recommend this if you're going through a relationship or working in a relationship. This album really touches a string with you. So yeah, let's move on to our next recommendation. Black Classical Music by Yusuf Days. This is a wonderful album, exploring the good old jazz themes from the 50s and 70s, but with a modern twist. There's no lyrics with this album, but you can still understand the emotional elements that it tries to tell, the tale and the adventure. Whilst listening to this, you get this vibe of Alice in Wonderland type feel. When you listen to it, it takes you into this world that the artist tries to express themselves with classic mixtures of jazz instruments and beautiful piano playing, I have to say. And I just really enjoyed this, that it was very unique and it takes you back to an era that's long forgotten, that era that you don't need lyrics and vocals to tell a story. You just need a good instrument, a good player of an instrument, and I think that the creative team that built this album was perfect too, and I think that what even made this album even better is some of the great tunes on this, like black classical music, Wust, is that, yes, Wust, The Light, or early days, uh, Chasing the Drum, and Birds of Paradise. Such tunes like this, I think, adds to this album's excellentness. So yeah, I just really enjoyed this. It takes you to, just makes you relax and just vibe out, if that makes any sense. You can sit back and enjoy the beautiful tale that it tries to tell. So yeah, and it was just brilliant that listened to this, since it's so relaxing, and it's just not. The rhythm was beautiful, the chorus was beautiful, the instruments that were used were beautiful. So yeah, I think it was excellent. So that's it for the recommendations. Let's move on to our last two parts of Music Monday, which is the album cover of the week, and let's start off with that. And my personal preference with album covers is it has to tell a story with the image of the cover. So what I have to say is the last recommendation, Black Classical Music, had a brilliant album cover. It shows I believe, a child in the background is like a garden of some sort. It has the title song and the title track and beautiful purple lighting, very fancy. I think it would be called what do you call that fancy lighting? I can't remember his name, but it'll come back to me when this is all over. So yeah, and the song of the week, the song that I quite enjoyed was September, actually, which I think was brilliant because it's just, it was the 1st of September, and it just shows that songs from a era long forgotten that can bring up such great emotions. Also, for my personal reference, music that I've listened to for the previous week, what I've enjoyed, mostly I've been listening to what you call them, television soundtracks like Kojak, Hawaiian 5-0, the Knight Rider theme, all those type stuff. But songs particularly, I've been listening to Groove Washington and Groove Washington Jr. and Bill Winters, just the two of us, which I really enjoyed. Just a lovely beat and chorus that I just enjoyed. So, what else have I been listening to? Mr. Jackson by Outcast. So yeah, just some wonderful tunes. I should add, this is this is it for Music Monday. Thank you again for listening. Wherever you are listening from, either that's YouTube or Spotify, hopefully. So yeah, just remember, groove out some of these tunes and just keep on listening. This will be one of my last episodes for a while. I'm going to take a week off if you the fans won't mind. But yeah, just a lot of great recommendations. I love some of the stuff. Like, I was really looking forward to Guts. A lot of Rodriguez's work, really loved that. And Revamp with Demi Lovato, which I liked because she remastered and actually took a different take with her previous works. So yeah, I'm happy about that. And thanks again for listening. I hope to see you in the foreseeable future. Please, if you have personal thoughts on this album, please leave a comment. I'll see you again soon, and goodbye.